today. All of them are adults. Most of them are married men. None of them is a minor. Some of them are university graduates. The small kids you are seeing here, they came with some of their parents to come and greet their loved ones. They are not even the real suspect standing trial in this case. They are not even the real
Good
suspect.
evening and good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Yes, I know you can hear me loud and clear. This is Mazes, okay? It's been a while that I brought you um, these evening broadcasts, and I've been working, being everywhere, driving around my dear state of Anambra, and it's been very difficult for me to sometimes sit down in my studio to bring you uh, evening news analysis. But here I am. And, thank you very much for being part of this. Come on, if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Mazes, okay? On this platform, we speak truth. Sometimes some of our viewers won't agree because the truth that we speak does not color the ideology that they believe in. But hey, one thing is sure, we must keep saying it as it is. Let me quickly bring us, to the topic today that the APC and NMPC once more has been caught pants down, lying to Nigerians as regards to the Dangote, sorry, as regards to the Port Harcourt refinery. If the refinery has been producing, yeah, chunking on out product. And before I go into details here, I want to show us quickly how these governments sometimes, the way they behave. If you follow me and you go to Bayo Onanuga's page, you will quickly find out that Bayo Onanuga had always wanted that to be so true, that he actually began to tout and began to make caricature of the former president of the republic, that is in the person of President Olusegun Obasanjo, when Bayo Onanuga had the following to say. So Bayo Onanuga here, obviously, let's quickly go back again. He says here, trying to obviously mock President Olusegun Obasanjo, says, I tried to get refineries working. Tinubu's plan won't work, say Obasanjo. Obviously, that was when Obasanjo said that he believes that the best thing Nigeria should do is to sell this refinery, but that the government had decided to go on the same trajectory that he, at some point, gone through to say this is not going to work. But hey, now, Bayo Onanuga wrote, never say never, a lesson for all mortals. Only Almighty God possesses the divine authority to declare what is achievable or not. Today, the Port Harcourt refinery begins operation, producing petroleum product against all odds and skepticism. This serves as a profound, obviously, he's gone further to say, this serves as a profound reminder to all humanity, including our former leaders, that perseverance, determination, and faith in our capacities and can overcome even the harshest challenges. Let us learn from this moment that limits are often set by our own doubts, and with the collective effort and unwavering resolve, we can bring about the changes we seek. Recall that this was originally published on the Guardian when General, if I choose to call him that, or President Olusegun Obasanjo made this call. Now, Bayo Onanuga on his page on the X handle obviously began a lot of posts where he was sharing some that he agrees. Like one of this one that says, "We shook them." Kiari told him, that is Mele Kiari. And Tinubu says, "No, no, 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 no. We choke them." Right? This is before the truth began to come out. Now, and what is the truth? The truth has come out that those involved are saying, "No, no, 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 no. What happened was a scam. We are actually not producing. What we did was just basically the old products that we had in the reservoir for about 3 years now is what we pumped out." And they told everyone that this is new product, which is nothing but a scam, right? So before we get to the meat of the matter, like I said before, if you're joining for the first time, because I've not been streaming for a very long time, over 2 weeks now, please, please, please like, share, and subscribe, and share in other WhatsApp group if you can. Let other people join us. Okay, let's now go into the meat of the matter here. Ego hot, oh. Ego hot. So let's go here now. This is an interview by Arise TV earlier today with those who actually knew and know what transpired with the NMPC and the Port Harcourt Refinery. Just grab yourself a popcorn and let's dive into this matter and let's keep on the expose. They will not like it, but here we are not in the business of making them happy. Our business here is to present the truth the way it is. Hence, our motto on this platform, exploring the truth behind the headlines. You read headlines every day, but our job is to always go and explore the truth. And in exploring this truth, sometimes it doesn't sit well with many of us. Let us do what? Let us go.
The morning show. But I understand we only have Mr. Timothy Ngbere. Mr. Ngbere, thank you for joining us. Well, Mr. Ngbere, you represent the Alesa stakeholders, the community stakeholders. Now, is the community concerned that oil production, oil processing, refining activity is about to come back within the community? Is the community making any demands? Because you recall that during the process of the Petroleum Industry Act and all of that, communities were making demands, and communities have perpetually raised issues about refining, about community engagement. That's one issue that I think will interest you. Then maybe you begin commenting on the fact that NNPC Limited says the Port Harcourt Refinery is back on stream. And there's been a lot of singing and dancing and chest beating, despite what the cynics say.
So this is not about the cynics. Now let us approach this from the point of informed, and objective output. So not necessarily, what for me is not my field. I could actually, whether the oil is refined or not, as long as it moves a car, that's the only thing I know. But also, if you, take a step backwards and listen to those that understand the sector better than you do, you may be able to learn one or two things from their inputs. So, young man, let's go. Shoot.
Well, good morning, Dr. Abati. Thank you for having me this morning. Actually, the Port Harcourt Refinery, and by extension, the Port Harcourt Depot, happen to be the mainstay of the Alesa economy. The economic activities emanating from the operations of this depot means a lot to us as a community people. But as it were now, I don't think is cause for celebration yet. What we are having in the media space is different from what we have on ground. I can tell it to you on authority as a community person that it was just a mere show we had on Tuesday at the Port Harcourt depot. A mere show in the sense that the Port Harcourt refinery, we call it Area 5, that is the old refinery, is merely on skeletal operation. When I say skeletal, some units were recently brought up and is running. Not the entire unit of the old refinery is functional as we speak. Very slow. I will give them the credit that at least they have started something, but not to say that, according to the chief head of corporate communication of the NNPC Limited, they have put it on the media that they are already producing 1,400,000 barrels per day. But that's not the case. That's not true. It's a very big, I don't want to use the word lie, but as...
No, young man, stop it there. You are at liberty to use the word lie because this is the APC we are talking about. Recall before the election when people were talking about the Muslim ticket. These were the same set of people who gave us the fake bishop. Recall before the Buhari administration handed over on the 26th of May 2023, they gave us what? Air Nigeria, Nigerian Air, the one some people, waited for. What they could not do in 8 years, 3 days to the time of leaving, they gave us Air Nigeria. Air Nigeria is there, so go and book. There was no website. You couldn't book. There was no office. But as usual, because it's APC, they will tell you, in the words of Femi Adesina, willing willers, that there were people who were willing. But hey, for 8 years, we wailed. We said, you guys were lying. You guys had PhD in lying, and you did not prove us right. So here again, under Tinubu, we just found out from Senator Nia Baribe within the week that there was never a time they brought any appropriation for the Senate to approve the presidential jet that we have. He's in the Senate. He understands it. He said it clear on national TV. So if all these things are there, the first one is a lie, the second one is a lie, the third one is a lie, the fourth one is a lie. So why wouldn't you, by all means, call it a lie? Because that's what they do.
As an agency that are holding the oil industry on trust for Nigerians, they shouldn't put out some of this information that are not true.
Hey, check this out. So I stopped buying. So
again, what the young man is also saying is that they should not, they should not put put out some of these things out there, because what it does is that it makes the people to actually begin to doubt whatever you put out. Now, and this is not the presidency per se, let's not make the mistake. But what he has said that is very instructive is that the presidency has influenced the way the professionals did their work.
The true picture of what happened on Tuesday is that the NNPC has been under pressure to...
Under pressure from who? For what? Under pressure from the presidency, so that they will look, oh, we are working, we are busy, we are fixing. What are you fixing? Lying to Nigeria. The same way Buhari said, oh, we are working overnight. If you forgot, when Abba Kyari went to Germany, and that's actually what killed him, went to Germany before the COVID lockdown, that he assigned a contract with German Siemens in Germany, or Siemens as they call them, that they assigned a contract with Siemens in Germany, that they were going to, give us Nigeria light in 4 years. How many years later? Light we no see. National grid na collapse it be. So now so APC has lied to us once, they keep lying to us.
Televised to Nigerians that everything is okay, and then that the old refinery have started functioning. I can tell you that the GMD, or the CEO, as it were for now, was in Port Harcourt since Monday. The other MDs were also in Port Harcourt. The MD of Port Harcourt Refinery and those heading the operations department, they didn't sleep through the night of Monday breaking Tuesday because of this whole event they had on Tuesday. What was the true picture? The old Port Harcourt Refinery is built with its own utilities, different from the new Port Harcourt Refinery. In terms of tank farm, the tank farm that is servicing the old Port Harcourt Refinery has a different loading gantry at the depot. The party they had on Tuesday was held at the new loading gantry that is directly connected to the new refinery. And so, how does that work? It's impossible. They went there because the storage facility for the old refinery had some stock, old stock, that has been there for over 3 years. And so what they had, they released that stock and then loaded 6 trucks and then televised it to Nigerians that is the production from the old refinery, Port Harcourt Refinery.
You see, how can a government be this wicked, and how can a government be behaving like this? They will just basically, take the old stock, as I said at the beginning, that was in there, pushed it to us, and tell us, oh, we have started production. Now, does it now make sense when they were accused of blending our, product in Malta? I will not be surprised that one of these days we would all buy fuel and the product will actually knock our engines. It has happened before. Was anybody held accountable? No, nobody was held accountable. It happened, and Nigerians moved on.
That is not true. That is not true, Dr. Abate. And so I like Nigerians to know the truth. Okay. But they don't need to believe me, because Nigerians, no matter how you paint the true pictures to them, they get sentimental, they get tribal, they want to whip some sentiment and all that. The product that was loaded, and let it be on record that it was only 6 trucks. According to them, they put so many data out there, but it was only 6 trucks. They were using it to calibrate the new loading gantry. But it's not a new refined product from the old refinery. That is not. I think that is the status we have. As at yesterday, they also loaded. But let me shock you, Dr. Abate. If we are celebrating that the Port Harcourt old refinery is already functional, how come they loaded only 4 trucks of product? The whole day, I mean, starting from 7 a.m., the work resumes at the Port Harcourt depot. It was only 4 trucks that was loaded till about 8 at night. Only 4. And these 4 trucks were actually under the loading bay areas. They were loading them, and they say it's automated. How can you have a truck under a bay for more than 6 hours under an automated system? Back in the years, when we had manual loading system, it doesn't take 45 minutes for one 30,000 or 33,000 liters of truck to be fully loaded. You can ask from any operational staff or any person that has been at the depot area. Manual system loads a truck for about 45 minutes. So fully automated, fully rehabilitated, and then you tell us it's 70% operational, and then you're loading 4 trucks for a whole day, 1 truck staying under the loading gantry for more than 6 to 7 hours. Who are we deceiving, Dr. Abate? I think that is the clear picture of the whole event at the Port Harcourt depot, and by extension, the Port Harcourt refinery. Thank you, Dr. Abate.
All right then, Mr. Timothy Ngbere, you have given us your first-hand observation of the refinery's operations. And, you know, the NNPC, of course, coming out on Tuesday to say that the old Port Harcourt refinery is operating at 70% capacity and aiming to scale up to 90% in the near future. As someone who has worked very closely with them, given the refinery's history of inefficiencies and recurring downtime, what do you think that the key challenges still are? Why are we still having, I mean, you've touched on the fact that it's probably because of the pressure that is being put on NNPCL. So why are we seeing a situation where we're still not being able to meet the promises that they gave to Nigerians? It's really talking about the fact that they are now being able to produce, starting to refine at this space going forward.
Well, I think the crux of our problem for the rehabilitation of this Port Harcourt refinery started with the choice of the contractor to handle this rehabilitation project. That was where we got it wrong. The NNPCL awarded this contract to Technimont SPA of Milan. But I can tell you for free that what we have on ground, those we see on ground, running and handling this rehabilitation is quite different. You have a situation where Technimont, that was awarded this contract, doesn't have even one single equipment on ground. One.
At this point, I think it would be fair to bring our former Minister of Information, the lying machine. Because I think that's the only thing that explains the type of lies that we've just heard in the last couple of days. Ogalai Mohammed, even your grandchildren, what would they ask you in this?
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?"
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. No, it's just that you get the way the APC lies they do, right? You get the way the APC lie they do. But maybe because this man warned us, he warned us, and none of us listened. Oga warned us once more. We didn't know when he was telling us that we are going to go from top to bottom. We didn't.
APC Nigeria from top to bottom. Top to bottom.
So they have really taken us from top to bottom. But hey, if I asked the president now, is the president aware?
We reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy.
Oh, actually, he knows what he's trying to do. It's true, because we know before the election, we actually asked him if he was going. He told us what he was going to do. That's true. We asked him during the election, show us what you are going to do. This is what he responded to us then. So these things are now making sense. Why?
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the 3 of us running. So they will spy on me.
Okay, nice, making sense. He doesn't want them to spy on him, to know that he will not be telling Nigerians the truth. Asari Dokubo, what do you call?
Would I too much?
It's not fight yet now. So Asari, don't worry, hold on. Remember you promised us something, Asari. Hmm? So why are you calling them Mumuna? Why? Asari, calm down. This is not a comedy show, but why are you calling them Mumu? Or did you not promise us that he was going to do it?
I said, if Ahmed Bola Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
You say?
I say, if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
Thank you.
You tell people.
No. Asari, we're not talking about failure now. But the truth here, people, aside the committee interjection here, the truth is that the APC, should I say the APC gang? Yes, the APC gang have really lied to Nigerians. And as you can see from here, they lied. They lied to us.
Technimo sublet this contract to numerous.
Even those that they told us were to come and repair it, they didn't have any equipment. You didn't hear it from me. They sublet it to another people that had the equipment. So it means someone gets a contract, gives it to another person gives it to another person gives it to another person. I mean, even some people that want to really talk will be speechless, and they can no.
Today, I want to declare without equivocal.
You see, because what has happened at the Port Harcourt refinery has led them to the point of declaring without something. I don't know, but hey, let's hear more.
Subcontractors who in turn sublet this contract to other contractors. I can tell you that to a very large extent, the result that has been achieved so far in this rehabilitation project is that has been given by the local contractors. I use the word local. We have seen a situation whereby the handlers of this rehabilitation project, the Technimot, the staffs they have brought on ground, they don't seem to be experienced. They don't seem to.
Because we're cutting costs.
The level of corruption ongoing there is amazing. You have a situation where somebody sits down and tells you he's the community relations manager, one Mr. Fineface Omeme. He is also the person handling all procurement contracts. He is also the person handling all human resource related issues. How can you have an effective system? It's not possible. The question is, why is a single individual handling the entire process of this rehabilitation project? Why? When we have capable hands that can do this. So the crux of the problem, the choice of the contractor wasn't right. I say this with all seriousness. We had a situation, in fact, personally, I've had cause to say that the Warri Refinery is going to come upstream before the Port Harcourt Refinery. Why did I say so? It's because of the track record of the handlers of that project. Daewoo Nigeria Limited. Daewoo has a track record here in Nigeria. He has his West African head office in Eleme, and we know what they are doing. See what Daewoo has done to Indorama. When you go there, Daewoo has done the first phase, building of the first phase of that Indorama. The second phase, now they are on the third phase. Daewoo single-handedly is doing all this massive project. But the Nigerian government didn't have the confidence to hand over the Port Harcourt Refinery to Daewoo. Maybe it was politically motivated. So they gave it to Technimo SPA. Now, there's another level of fraud. If you go there, what you see is Technimo Nigeria. But the company that was awarded the contract is Technimo SPA of Milan. They bring some few white guys on ground for whatever reasons they are there, and they use just one or two black individuals to oversee everything that is happening there on their decks. They award you contracts, you go into private discussions with them, they tell you places, you go and build certain assets for them before they can award you this contract. A lot of fraud. ongoing there. I think that is the crux of the matter, why we have not yet arrived at the promises that NNPCL has made to Nigerians.
My brother,
thank you.
Let's unveil this fraud even more. I have the press release in 2021 of Marie Technimot, when they said they are strengthening their footprint in Nigeria with a 1.5 billion deal by NNPC. Marie Technimot SPA announces that a subsidiary, Technimot SPA, has been awarded a contract by the Federal Executive Council to carry out rehabilitation works for Port Harcourt Refinery, which is a subsidiary of NNPC. But let me read you the terms of the contract. The overall contract value is $1.5 billion. It entails full engineering, procurement, and construction activities for a full rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt Refinery, aimed at restoring the complex to a minimum of 90% of its nameplate capacity. The complex is comprised of 2 refineries with overall capacity of 210,000 barrels per day. The project will be delivered in phases of 24, 32 months, and the final stage will be completed in 44 months from the date of the award. By my calculation, this press release was made on the 6th of April 2001. 6th of April 2001 to today is exactly 42 months. And in that 42 months, they claim that it's just 70% of the Port Harcourt, the first refinery, the 60,000 barrels per day refinery that was built by Shell Daisy in '65, which is a utility refinery that is working. But which we all know that what they did was they took cracked C5 raisins from Indorama and they blended some naphtha with some of the stock they had before, and they pushed down and they said it was fully completed. That 60,000 capacity does not even have a converter, correct me if I'm wrong, to be able to refine into, petrol and pump. So 42 months down the line, we have wasted money and time of Nigerians. This was the same Technimonte that as at a month ago, Femi Falana wrote a letter to them to ask, when will this contract be completed? They said they do not know. And we are 42 months away into a 44-month completion period. This, a rare document that I have to get out in circulation of their press release out of Italy. What do you see about this fraud and corruption?
Listening to some of these things, one thing that would really come to mind is that, watching this, obviously, let's not make a mistake. The reason why we say APC is for a reason. I didn't say Tinubu or Buhari. It's APC because government is a continuum. It's an APC government that handed over to another APC government. So you just keep wondering, shouldn't there be serious consequences? Yesterday, a Chinese bank, I believe the central bank exec, was sentenced to death by hanging. Here in Nigeria, some communities would have given that person a chieftaincy title. The government of Nigeria would have given that person GCON or whatever, GCSS or WAYEC, or I don't know what they call them, CON, FIN3, I don't know whatever they call all of them. But the thing is, there is no consequences in this part of the world for nasty behaviors. There is no consequences. Hence, these things keep happening. It's terrible, terrible.
Well, thank you very much. It's good that with the details you have brought out, Nigerians will be refreshed, their memories. Because this is really appalling that a whopping sum of 1.5 billion taxpayers' fund, US dollars, will just go down the drain. I say this because if you look at the party they held at the depot area, you hardly could find the community people. you're supposed to have seen the chief celebrating because this project means a lot to us as a people. But did you see that? No. The chiefs weren't there. It's like they went and bought some strangers, imported them into that area. Even the person that stood up and spoke as speaking for the community is not a member of the community. Not
Hold on, sorry. But how would you, sorry, how would you expect them to get a member of the community to speak? Are you not in this country when they brought bishops from Jankara market? They went into Yanikpaja and Wuse market and grabbed some people with some clothes to come and act as bishop, to the point that the Christian Association of Nigeria had to disassociate themselves from those bishops. Next week, you saw some bishops climbing Okada, some in Keke. You go bring Keke riders. So listen, it's in their DNA. It's fraud. It's deceit. It is in their DNA. Hence, they are doing the same thing. They are in your community. They go and bring somebody, say, this is the same person from this community. But when una look around now, una no say, no, this one no be part of us. And they will tell you, no, it's part of you. No, it's not part of us. It's part of you. Why? Because they always want things to be fake. In the words of Wike, fake, all fake.
The son of the soil is not from there. And so that is the extent Technimont is going to cover their tracks. That's the extent the NNPC is going to cover their tracks. Let me put this out on the media space. As a community, we have never had a single engagement with Technimont SPA. They have never come to visit the community, to introduce themselves, to say, this is why we are in the community, this is the project we are handling, this is the benefit that is accruing to the community. We have not seen them. We don't have any benefit. We don't. And so maybe that is why they are avoiding the community participation. How about the workforce? Did they give us employment? The answer is no. These projects used up to 3,000 workforce. Going by the local content, the community is supposed to have more than 50% of that workforce. Okay. What did we get?
Mr. Ngbere.
We didn't get anything.
Mr. Ngbere, I'll come back to you. I understand Nick Agule has joined us. Nick Agule, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us, energy expert. What's your quick take on this latest development?
Let me know where you're joining us from.
Innocent, thank
you, Tracy.
We're saying mixed reactions, this and that. But some people are saying, well, we should be grateful for the clear progress that has been made by the Tinubu administration. Do you consider this clear progress? And that we can only hope for more, particularly as NNPC Limited says that the main refinery will soon come on stream and additional refined products will be pushed into the market.
So once this guy, obviously takes his question, and whatever he's going to say is not going to be a total departure from what the previous person said. It's just a question of, a system trying to scam Nigerians at all times, misinform Nigerians, right? Let's quickly bring him back in and see.
Parent manner to Nigerians. We have to say the basics. The basics are this refinery that the NNPC is running is owned by Nigerians. We are the owners of this asset, and the NNPCL is our servant. They are our workers.
Not in doubt.
And they have to report back to us in the most transparent way the situation with this refinery. Not just the Port Harcourt old refinery, but the three others. And I can say that this is not happening. First and foremost, a statement that was issued by the NNPCL announcing the commencement of production of petroleum products at the old refinery did not carry anything blending. It was that the refinery has started production and that was it. It was when the controversy started to be generated on social media and on other platforms that the NNPCL issued a secondary statement. And in this statement, they provided more data. For instance, they say the refinery is at 70% production capacity, that the refinery is blending C5, which is a petrochemical, with naphtha, which is perhaps one of the first products that come out when you start the refining process to produce gasoline. And then they gave other metrics like they're producing 1.5 million liters of diesel and all that. The point here is that why were those details not even mentioned when they first came across to us, the owners of this refinery? Why did they have to wait for this controversy to be generated before they give us these additional details? So I would say that as it stands now, Nigerians are right to doubt the NNPCL.
Well, okay, whether you are right or wrong, whether you are still doubting it or you're not doubting it, know ye that many Nigerians already have seen the government for what they are. If they lie to you once, recall that even in during the time of Buhari, to a point that people, when Lai Mohammed came back to be reconfirmed in the Senate, he was asked a question and he made this comment. It means that the APC as a party lying to Nigerians did not start today. If not, this video you watch now that happened in the floor of the Nigerian Senate shouldn't have.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?" I looked at him. What do you say to a 7-year-old son? How do you explain politics to him? So I said, no, don't mind them.
So it's not about explaining politics to a 7-year-old. It's just that the 7-year-old, it's actually smart to understand that and feels, and feel how the Nigerian populace basically felt by the informations you dished out to them. Recall there was a time in this country we had a minister of information by name late Professor Dora Akunyali. When the nation was in distress, when the nation in our darkest hour, during the time of late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, when the cabals then led by James Ibori and Yar'Adua's wife did not, allow President Goodluck Ebere Jonathan to see the ailing president, or even see if it be his corpse, his body, or anything. And the Federal Executive Council could not speak to the president for weeks. At some point, the woman did the unthinkable. He told Nigerians, "I am the Minister of Information, but I am saddened to tell you that I do not have any information to give you. I have not spoken to the president. I have not seen the president." I mean, at that point, Nigerians began to see a different level of integrity in that woman. The cabals, they hated her because she pulled them. She pulled the rug from their feet. But that is what integrity does. That it comes to a point, you speak the truth. In this case, Melekere and the crew have not really done a great service to Nigerians, and I believe and I hope that Nigerians in the future will not forget. They may not be held accountable and responsible today, but in the future, we do hope that we will come to that place of what the Germans will call Offenbarung, that things eventually will be exposed and individuals and entities will be seen for what they are. Now, aside that, the second part of this broadcast is about the tax reform bill. In the Nigerian Senate today, there was this tax, the debate happened that so many some senators at some point staged a walkout. Many of you who follow me would agree with me that I have personally called for sometimes the opposition senators, opposition House of Assemblymen in the National Assembly to do the same. It makes absolute no sense that people will be in the National Assembly and you do not agree to certain things and you think you do not have any voice. No matter what, if you do not agree on certain things, the least you can do is to stage a walkout. Say, no, I do not agree with this. Some of you may disagree with Senator Aline Dume, or maybe the approach and in the manner he approached this thing. Some will say this is a North versus South, while some will say no, it is actually a North versus Lagos cabal. However you dice it, however you see this, one thing is very clear. The deliberations at the National Assembly ought to be vibrant enough that when disagreement occur, not that we be expecting them to fist fight, but that you will see some democratic instrument of disagreement, like staging a walkout. Were I to be in that house, I tell you up to now, maybe I will be staging a walkout every week because there is a lot happening in there that I will never agree with. On that note, let's take this part from the Arise crew.
Reform bills. After being ruled out on 3 separate attempts to stop the impromptu exercise, the Northern senators, including Senator Ali Ndume, stormed out of the chamber. They only returned after being persuaded by their colleagues. Arise correspondent Omo Bazoye has more.
Trouble started after the Senate leader Okoyemi.
So, like I said, in their view, that the trouble started when that reform bill. Recall, let me give us a background here. Recall that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, BAT, or President Bola Tinubu Ahmed, had one time actually introduced this bill seeking to do some tax reforms. The key component of that is that states should begin to, that VAT should be accruing to state based on consumption, not on headquarters, which I think I agree. So where, if you sell beer, if beer is consumed in Sokoto, or if beer is consumed in Omahia, or if beer is consumed in Oshobo, then you should pay tax in Oshobo, Omahia, or Sokoto, irrespective of where your headquarters is. So, it means that those who consume certain items would have to pay taxes based on the place of domicile. Comparatively, if you now just oppose that to the other argument that said, no, 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 that should not be, because if we do that, we are going to be losing out on XYZ, then some would then argue, no, Why would we have to, if tax is paid here, we take it to um, the headquarters? And as the argument rages, you would also understand that even those that accuse the Lagos axis, even those that accuse the Lagos axis, that it may not eventually play out the way many people think it should or it would. Let's come back to this. I believe the video is now much better clear.
Of the chamber. They only returned after being persuaded.
What's happening? Come on. Okay, let's try one.
Persuaded by their colleagues. Arise correspondent Omobazo.
Come on now.
It has more.
Trouble started after the Senate leader Okoyemi Bamidele asked the Senate
Kilo happen. What are going? Anyway, okay. So let me see if I can get, while I expect that to come back to life, if I can get Ali Ndume, Senator Ali Ndume, to throw some light as to his view as to what happened actually. Let me see if I can pull that up now. So let's hear from Senator Ali Ndume.
Governor. These governors sat down collectively, and then some of these young people will come to tell us, like yesterday, they were using a language which I did not take lightly to. See, I'm 65 years old. I schooled in Nigeria. I schooled in America. And if you know, I am a Pi Kappa Pi of my university, University of Toledo, Ohio in 1990. That is a big privilege. Go and check all these people that are saying they are in America, they are from Harvard. What does it take to be admitted into Pi Kappa Pi? Yet, because I'm wearing abada, because I'm from Borno State, some people will call me arrogant. Ignorant. If it is even arrogant, I will take it. One of the aides called me ignorant, but I didn't respond to it because during his first statement, he also said controversial and brilliant. So how can you be brilliant and be ignorant? The other one said that I'm lazy. We went to the same school. He knows his performance, he knows mine. I taught in the Polytechnic for 20 years before I joined politics. I married two of my daughters to Yoruba, one from Lagos and one from State, Kwara. Yet, I'm called Hausa man. Because of what? Naivety of some people. Here we are with too many political undertakers, and they are doing damage to Mr. President. The president is trying, and he's performing. Within 2 years, he has some issue, things that he did, which is commendable, but it's being beclouded by some of these policies. The PIB bill is one of the most important bills passed in this our democracy. It was not passed in 1 week. It was not passed in one session. It was not passed in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I remember the PIB bill was introduced when I was in the House of Rep. It did not pass until we were in the Senate. And it's more important than the tax reforms. Yes, reforms. But even reforms, you have to prioritize it. You have to time it. You have to get the buy-in of Nigerians. Because this is democracy, it's government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Let's break it down, Senator. For the fact that institutions and some eminent people in the society up against a particular change doesn't mean that that change is wrong. There might be a perception problem, but let's break it down. First and foremost, Senator, what is your grouse with the bill? Do you have a general summary of your grouse with the bill?
Yes, 2 of them or 3. One, which is very important, is the timing. Okay? I disagree with the timing.
You don't think it's the right time to present
the bill? Because Nigerians are struggling to survive. And whether you like it or not, because most of...
Anyway, I'm glad he said that, you know, the first issue he has with this is his timing, not the bill itself. All right. But this was an interview he had moments ago, 7 o'clock Nigerian time, with Sean Okimbale. But earlier in the day, there was indeed a heated argument in the National Assembly. Now, let me take this report and see if this works better now.
The Senate to suspend its rules and allow visiting tax experts, including the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, into the chamber during Wednesday's plenary. The Senate leader instantly followed with Order 1B, which allows the Senate to regulate its own procedures.
The essence of this is for them to come and speak to the integrity of the tax reform bills and to also enable our colleagues ask questions.
Instantly, the first opposition came from Senator Abdul Ningi from Bauchi Central, who points out that the privilege cannot be extended to the tax experts and that they should be invited to brief the Committee on Appropriations instead.
I don't see anywhere whereby the senators should allow these people to come here and make the kind of interactions they so want. However, committees of the Senate and Appropriation can invite for the interaction of this manner.
But presiding Deputy President of the Senate, Barao Jibril, swiftly intervened, trying to impress it on Senator Ningi that the waiver being sought for the drafters of the tax reform bills is to allow them speak openly to Nigerians about the tax bills and end once and for all the contentious aspects of the proposed tax bills. He then ruled Senator Ningi out of order, admitting the motion from the Senate leader to allow the guests in.
We should also educate ourselves about the bill, and in that respect, the motion has been moved by the leader and seconded by my majority leader. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Not satisfied, Senator Ali Ndume fired the next salvo to stop the visitors from being allowed on the grounds that the item is not listed on the order paper and as such violates Senate business rules.
Mr. President, you will have your way, but I can have my say. You can use the gavel and I will use my voice. This thing is very sensitive. Our people have been dominated by this matter.
Senator Ndume was also ruled out of order. But moments later, Ndume returned, asking the presiding officer to withdraw the use of words against him and apologize.
You sitting there to say it's rhetorics, I think it's very unfortunate and you should apologize.
It's not an offense. Nobody used that against you. In the context it was used, it wasn't used against you. It was a general statement. I therefore rule out of order.
Again, Ndume was ruled out of order, and he was seen packing his stuff to leave. He was prevailed upon to stay back, even as the Senate proceeded on the briefing by the task reform team. Omo Bazwai, Arise News.
All right, then, so we were live, I think it was on Newsday yesterday when we saw this fireworks in the Senate breakout. And, you know, the tax reform bill in itself, of course, represent a pivotal moment for Nigeria's fiscal policy with the potential to modernize the tax system to provide relief for vulnerable populations. However, we're seeing this procedural controversies in the Senate, I believe, highlighting the need for an improved legislative transparency and the adherence to rules. I understand in a way, you know, where Senator Ndume is coming from, but however, when we look at everything that's currently happening in Nigeria, you would expect that in a situation where they're introducing this new tax reform bill, which has gotten some pushback and some criticism, you would expect that the Senate, you know, the National Assembly would want to hear directly from the horse's mouth so that they can, you know, understand exactly how this tax reform bills actually affect, you know, the everyday citizen. So even though there's a rule in the Senate that says, oh, you know, they can't be admitted directly, I would expect that there would have been an exception just because we are at a state in this country where we really need to figure out what we're doing next. I'd like to know your thoughts, Doctor, starting with you, of course.
Okay. Well, first, let me deal with the issue that occurred yesterday at the Senate. There have been controversies over the reform of the tax ecosystem in Nigeria, particularly with the fiscal policy team, Presidential Committee on Taxation and Fiscal Policy, led by Taiwo Oyedele to Zak Adedeji, with some of the states, you know, most of the states, saying that they disagree with the reform of taxation. Now, when President Tinubu set up that committee, the basic principle is that there is a need to address issues of tax administration, tax management in this country. Because, you recall, Wale Edun, as coordinating minister of the economy, had told us severally that the issue here is not about increasing taxation to punish the people. It's about creating a more efficiency framework for tax collection and revenue collection. And I think that was the original programmatic position of the government that led to the setting up of the Taiwo Oyedele Committee. Now, the Taiwo Oyedele Committee completed its assignment and made a number of recommendations on the basis of which the president sent, you know, proposals to the National Assembly. Then there was the kickback, the pushback by the Northern Governors Forum, who said, this would affect them negatively. And the Northern Governors Forum directed senators, lawmakers in the National Assembly to kick against the bill. The second thing is that, you know, some state governors also said, no, they were against the bill and they didn't want it. Now, what you have seen here, you know, is just realpolitik between the states and the federal government. But I think also that the Tinubu administration has tried to show that it's more clever at the game. And it tried to, you know, explain the matter to the National Assembly, on the basis of which a team was sent to the National Assembly, led by, well, I don't know who led the team, represented by, you know, Zak Adedeji, chairman FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Taiwo Oyedele, who, you know, spearheaded the tax reform and who knows the subject anyway, given his professional expertise, and also Tanimu Yakubu, the Director General of the Budget Office. Now they showed up in the Senate, and all this argument about northern senators saying no, Order 12 was against the rule. I think it was Ali Ndume who said that the matter was not listed in the order paper for the day. And he said it was also a violation, along with Abdul Ningi, senator, you know, saying that there has been a violation of is it section 12 or whatever, of the Senate rules. Now, the thing to note here is that both Senator Ningi and Senator Ndume, these are two northern senators who have a grouse against either the Senate itself or also to add to it to the Tinubu administration. But I don't want to comment further on that. That may look like getting into their politics. But for me personally, I think it's good to see that for once we even see these senators disagreeing, not behaving like a rubber stamp assembly and arguing over something. But what are they arguing about? I think Taiwo Oyedele, the man who led the process of reform, explained it more properly. And I would think that it's important to focus more on the intelligence that he provided. And then supported by Zaka Dideji. What did Taiwo Oyedele say? Taiwo Oyedele said, in fact, what has happened in the tax reforms that they have done is one, to make sure that there's equity, fairness, and justice. Sure. That the poor and the vulnerable of Nigeria, if you earn between 50,000 and 70,000 naira, you will not have to pay tax. If you earn up to about 100 million, all these big people, in our society, then you have to pay up to about 25%, as is done in other jurisdictions, particularly the United States. That's one. So in other words, the reform is to help the poor. Number two, one of the four bills is saying that another look will be taken at the, the VAT distribution arrangement. The federal government used to get 15%. They are proposing the federal government should get 10%. States should get 35%. No, states should get an additional 5%, and then local governments should get 35%. Another thing is that every state should earn, in terms of VAT collection, according to the consumption of its people. That is the equity that Oyedele was talking about. In other words, sales tax is what states can collect. Sales tax. Not import tax, not other taxes that are due to the federal government. In other words, this is about reform coming from a government, an administration that says it is reform-minded.
Let me say this. I'm glad that the northern governors are saying this, having really northern senators are saying this, having really, taken into cognizance how the reform could affect their people. Sadly, I say this, especially the people of Southeast, that many of them maybe, there is this, sentiment. Oh, how do they how do we say that? Oh, we we subsidize the north, or we will carry the north, or we pay whatever for the north. But let me tell us people, it isn't true. It isn't true. When it comes to tax, payment, there are some things that will shock you. That when some of you say, oh, this, you find out, you go hard though, because you find out that when you actually get, when you talk about, in terms of tax collection, what you can do with it, you find out that you are actually within some states and regions not paying enough tax. And if need be that you're going to stay, do anything, you find out you cannot even, maybe feed yourself. I'm trying to pull these data from StatiSense. Let me see if I can pull that data from StatiSense, people, so that you can also see what I'm looking at here. There was these statistics quickly that talked about the tax collection by regions. I'm just trying to trying to use this to show us something, so that we should be mindful, and we should also understand why these northern senators are doing what they are doing. Whereas I'm roundly disappointed, in as much as I support the reform, But I'm also roundly disappointed that some other senators are not entirely alive to some of these things, and they thought it does not matter, right? Okay, let's look at it this year, people. I think this is one of these. Now, let's look at this. VAT collection by subnationals. Lagos State 249 billion. River State 70 billion. Oyo 20 billion. Now, the only state in the southeast collects 4.2 billion in VAT. In the first 12, Imo is not there, Ebonyi is not there, Enugu is not there, and Abia is nowhere to be found. Only one state in the north central, 3 states in the southwest, 1 state in the southeast, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 states in the south. No, 5 states in the south. You know, you can argue it is because of the oil production, but it doesn't matter. It's about the VAT collection. If these means anything to us, we should begin to be, thinking deep. Now, there is another one that says, yes, I think this one, VAT contribution and how much they take, right? States receiving less VAT than they contributed, 2024, August 24. Bayelsa, pays or contributed 7.12 billion and takes 5.58 billion. That's 78 of what it contributed it took. Lagos contributed 249.77 and took only 40% of what it contributed. Again, these things, again, I look at it this way. Data has no emotion, right? I will encourage you, if you are not one of those that follow StatiSense, honestly, on a daily basis, they really chunk out nice statistics that could, help us in some of this conversation. And this is the one I'm looking for here. This is the real deal here. And this is why I said I am somewhat disappointed that the Southeast reps did not pay attention. Again, me, Mazezoke, presenting to you this evening as an individual who understands these, tax conversation very well. I am pro this, that things ought to change in this direction as proposed. However, if you dig deep, it will take a lot of hard work for us to close the rank. Because if you look at this, VAT contributed and received by zone August 2024. VAT contributed / VAT received in percentages. The Southwest, now not Lagos, contributed 278.52 billion in 1 month. And they received 73 billion. It means that the Southwest gave Nigeria about 205 billion because they only took about 26%. South contributed 100 billion and they took 46. That's a 47%, roughly, give or take, marking up to 50. North Central contributed 31 and they took 34. That means they took more than they contributed. North Central, do not rejoice. Northwest contributed 12 billion and they took 48. That means they took 375 billion. 375%. They contributed 12 and they took 48. Northeast contributed 12.42, and they took 34. That's 280%. Now, Southeast contributed in terms of VAT the least with 8.16 billion. And they took how many? How much? 29.03 billion. That's 356%. So if you go back again to northwest and southeast, you see that the northwest and southeast in percentage side took the most, even when they contributed almost the least. Now, if this becomes, because many of you who are in Europe understand that the government cannot work without taxes, value added tax, whatever it is. The question is, from what you're contributing, can you sustain yourself? I don't know. Now, and this is the angle I had expected based on the reforms and in the pattern of questioning. I had expected that the reps from the southeast and the northwest would have, interjected more on this. But again, when Alindume speaks, he says, I speak for the north. Therein is masked the northeast, the northwest, and the north central. Therein, there's something that is masked there. And the south, then he talk about the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south. However, in the whole federation, August 2024, southeast collected the least VAT, and southeast collected the most in percentage wise. Again, make of the data whatever you think. On that note, I say thank you very much for joining me. Join me tomorrow again for my Friday hangout. Tomorrow is Friday. We are going to be having a Friday hangout. It's going to be an awesome day. Do not forget to join me. I am still Mazes, okay? On these, I say good night. God bless us all. Bye.
La la la.